Hello everybody, Legend for Life here, bringing guys a brand new video. So, a bunch of stuff got leaked for Circuit Breaker, which is actually, I double checked, it's coming out in 2 days in Japan. So, yeah, this set is like really super close, and I can't wait to get to play around with the stuff on here in this set on Dueling Book. Because there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. Most of it, you know, like the crawlers, the metaphys, and all that stuff. But, however, with this last batch of leaks, which I believe this is the last bit of cards that we were, like, waiting for. I'm not entirely sure. There might be 1 or 2 more stragglers, but I'm pretty sure this is all of the cards that were left. This set looks to be a really good and pretty balanced set. My biggest issue with Circuit Breaker is that Konami is doing another Zexal with Vrains, and starting with Circuit Breaker, the second set, there's nothing but Link monsters in terms of extra deck stuff. Okay, the only reason why there was other summoning mechanics in Code of the Duelist was because those were left over from Arc V, and I'm honest to God still surprised that they still went back and printed those last few cards in Code of Duelist. Heck, most of the time they just usually let those cards just drop off the face of the earth and then maybe print them, what, like 10 years down the line, like they did with freaking Cyber Angels. But still, the fact that they did that was still pretty awesome. But however, yeah, it looks like with Reigns we're getting nothing but Link monsters, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because the whole, you know, Link monsters killing everything else and then basically being shoved down our throats even more so by Konami is a bit annoying. But either way, Circuit Breaker looks to be a great set. There's a bunch of new cool stuff in here, and I'm just rambling on. Let's get on with this. First and foremost is Battle Over the Star Relics, which is a quick play spell card, and God, I love this artwork, okay? It shows the Star Grails fighting the Crawlers, and this, I swear, I want my Konami to make this into a freaking RPG or something, please. Konami, I don't care if it's a video game or an anime, something, please do something with the DT storylines, because this is just cool, and I would really like it. It would be a really cool RPG. I mean, still, seriously. And this artwork is just freaking awesome. The Crawlers are super scary, and they still remind me a lot of Xenomorphs for some reason. So, yeah, in all seriousness, though, I freaking love that artwork. Funnily enough, this card is, like, super generic. Okay, so it's a quick play spell card. Banish one face-up monster you control until the end phase. And then target a face-up monster your opponent controls. That opponent's monster loses attack and defense equal to the respective original attack and defense of the monster banished to activate this card. So I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how this can be used with Shiranui, which is really cool. But I think the idea with this card is that you banish your extra monster in your extra monster zone to open up your extra monster zone again. Because the monster that you banished will come back into the main monster zone. Kind of like with Cyframe Lord Omega. So, like, let's say you have a Stardust Dragon, although, okay, bad example, because you would just do Stardust Dragon's effect and negate something, and then you come back in Monster Zone. Let's say you have something like Red Dragon Archfiend, okay, or any of his other myriad of counterparts, and you want to open up your extra Monster Zone to make, I don't know, a Utopia, okay? You activate this card, banish your Red Dragon Archfiend, make Utopia, and then during the end phase, Red Dragon Archfiend comes back into your main monster zone. That is really useful. And then, holy crap, that can also reduce something that your opponent has down by 3,000 attack points, and then run into it with a 5k Utopia Lightning. That's mean. But seriously though, I feel like that's kind of like what they're trying to, like, kind of push towards for this, because this is just, it sounds like a really good idea. Granted though, I don't know how much people are actually going to use it. I mean, heck, once Links really get rolling, I plan on basically playing nothing but Link-oriented decks, or decks that don't use extra stuff at all, really, except for Links. So, I don't know how much this is going to, like, really be important in the meta at all, like, if anybody's even going to bother with it for either of those purposes. Next up, we got Condenser Deathstalker, a new Cyberse monster, and I'll be honest, I freaking love the Cyberse, like, typing. Everything about them so far reminds me a crap ton of Synchrons, but they are focused on Links, obviously. And I feel like that Cyberse, once we get better generic Links and better Links for the Cyberse typing, this deck can be very good. This card is not one of those cards that's going to be very good. Granted, though, I like the artwork, but it's kind of wasted on a pretty meh card. So it's a level 5 Cyberse type effect monster. 2k attack, 1000 defense. You can only use its second effect once per turn. It's a hard once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can target a Cyberse monster you control. Other than this card, that monster gains 800 attack while this monster is face up on the field. Cool! Except it's a tribute monster. And the Cyberse don't have much ways of tributing. And they're focused on links, not tributing. This card is terrible. If this card is in the main monster zone, is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, inflict 800 damage to both players. Okay, you gotta destroy him by a card effect, and he does damage to both players. Okay, if I want to do 800 damage, I can just play YgoAmino Cowboy, and no one plays that card anymore, so he's not very good. And then here's the card everybody's freaking out about. Good old Premature Burial. I've also seen it be called Excessive Burial. Whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to go with Premature Burial since that's what they have on here. And honestly, it makes a bit more sense than Excessive, although I guess Excessive also makes a bit of sense. Anyways, this card, it's an equipped spell just like the original Premature Burial. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Activate this card by discarding one monster from your hand and target a monster in your graveyard with an original level lower than the discarded monsters. Spell shall summon it, and if you do, equip it with this card. The equipped monster's effects are negated. So, it's literally Premature Burial, except you need to discard a monster instead of paying life points. And then, whenever you discard that monster, you can only summon monsters from your graveyard who has a level less than, or, well, not even equal to, has to be less than the monster's level that you discarded. And then the monster you summon has its effects negated. Okay? Now, this honestly makes me think that this is probably what they would have errated Premature Burial to, but I guess they noticed that people hate it when they go back and completely and totally change the card's effect and everything, so they're just making a new version. This card is okay. I can see it being used in certain decks. Most notably, I can think of Blue Eyes using it, because you can discard a Blue Eye, summon an Arcbrave, and then whenever Arcbrave dies, you'll get his effect engraved, special summon a Blue Eyes or something. Which is interesting. That's not a bad thing. But this card, the big thing that kills it, in my personal opinion, is the fact that the monster's effect that you get summoned is negated. Okay? Having so many restrictions on it already, this is just the ultimate, like, cherry on the top. Like, oh, hey, you gotta discard a monster, and then you can only summon monsters with a level less than that monster's level. Oh, and by the way, its effect is negated. That just is so, like... It's so dickish. It really is. I can't think of any other word. So, really, in all honesty, this card, it's going to be used in some decks. It's not going to be used in every deck. And it's in the decks that it is going to be used in, it's going to be like somewhat gimmicky. I don't really see this card being very impactful in the meta. And personally, I can only really think of like 2 decks that I would want to play it in anyways. Maybe Zombies as well. Zombies could use this. Next up, we got these cards. Let's see here. Is it gonna load? Apparently not. Let's try this again. Nope, not gonna load, so we can't look at the artwork. Dang it. So, that's that Dragonoid thing, which I think is gonna be a Revolver card. That's the OK Tuner dude that I think Cyberdarks might use. That's a Crawler that's been revealed already. That is Defect Compiler, which was revealed like the other day. He's okay. He's not very great. Maybe if like Trickstars are as big as people think they're going to be, people might play Defect Compiler. But the card that we're talking about is Link Restart, which is this cool little trap card here, which I would show you the awesome artwork of, but I can't because it's not loading for some reason. It's literally like Decode Talker with a sword raised, and he's like charging ahead. It looks really cool, but either way, it's a counter trap card. When a monster effect or spell trap card is activated that would inflict damage to you, negate that activation, and if you do, special summon one Link monster from your graveyard. So I actually really like this card. Being able to stop any effect damage and then get to summon out any monster from your graveyard is really awesome. Now that being said, the issue is that there's, aside from Trickstars, like no one's playing Burn anywhere in the current game. And so... yeah, it's just like super gimmicky. Like honestly, I could probably see myself siding this against Trickstars if I was playing like well, I'd probably side this if nothing else, because being able to summon any of my Link monsters back is really nice. I don't think I'd summon Decode Talker because he's not good in the main monster zone, but I could totally see myself using this in the side deck against burn heavy decks, like for instance Chain Burn, Trick Stars, Nurse Burn, stuff like that. This card's okay. It really is. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Remote Reborn, normal trap card, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, spell summon it to one of your opponent's main monster zones, and a link monster you control points to. This card is super gimmicky. It's trash in almost every sense of the word, except in like two situations. That being, if you're playing Topologic Bomber Dragon, and you have him out, and you activate this card, summon a monster in your opponent's monster zone into the zone that Topologic Bomber Dragon points to. Topologic Bomber Dragon's effect activates, nuking the entire main monster zone for both players. So that's literally the only time that it'd be good. I guarantee you this is going to be used by Revolver. But however, aside from that, it's not good at all. It really is not. The only other time I can think of is maybe like bringing back one of your opponent's link monsters, so that it points towards your Firewall Dragon, so that then you can use Firewall Dragon's effect on more monsters. But again, that's just too gimmicky. It's not good. It just really is not all that great. So I don't really see this card being anything amazing. It's not going to be used hardly ever. And wow, okay, like Imgur does not like me today. God dang it. And that means I can't even look at this beautiful artwork. Dang it. Elemental Grace Doriato. She's a level 9 light spellcaster type special summon effect monster. I don't know why they put special summon here, but whatever. She's an effect monster. A lot of people are angry that she's not a... Wait, what? I am confuzzled. Oh. Huh? That is weird. It literally just copied the freaking... Never mind. Anyways, so... She's... a bunch of people are angry that she's not a ritual monster. But again, Konami just wants you to forget about every other summoning mechanic and focus on links right now. So it makes sense why they would do this. She's level 9, spellcaster type effect monster. 0 attack, 0 defense, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by having 6 or more different attributes among the monsters in both graveyards, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. So, if between you and your opponent there's a total of 6 different attributes, you can summon her. And that's the only way you can summon her. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each attribute among the monsters in both players' graveyards. So at the max, I believe she can be at 3,500. I believe so. Let's actually double check that, because I can't remember if Creator God is an attribute or not, technically speaking. Monster, attribute. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay, so 35, because... yeah, I thought so, because Haraki's divine, isn't he? Harak. I can't spell. Harak. Winged Dragon. There it is. Oh, Halati. Okay. Creator God Divine. Okay, yeah, it's a divine monster, that's why. So, 3,500 max. If your opponent would special summon, or special summons, a quick effect, you can banish 3 monsters from your graveyard, negate that summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. If grass was not limited, this card would actually be really good, because you can just build a deck totally around her, mill off everything with grass, and if you mill off a couple copies of her, activate Monster Reincarnation, grab her back from grave, special summon, actually you only need 1 copy of her, set a few back row, and then just laugh as your opponent can't do anything to your 3,500 beater, except Kaiju it, or Daikoro it, or anything else, provided you don't have something to stop its destruction. Next up, we got Metaphys Executor. I don't know why I bothered trying to click on the Imgur picture, but whatever. Level 10, light worm type special summon effect monster. Attack 3k, defense 2,500. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 5 Metaphys cards of different names among the face-up cards on your field and or on your graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card on the field cannot be destroyed by and cannot be banished by card effects. Once per turn, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target one of your banished Metaphys monsters, special summon it, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn. Really good boss monster for the deck. I really do like this card. And heck, I like it how it appears to be so big that it can encompass, it has this big thing around the earth. That's just the feeling I get from it. It's a really cool boss monster. I like it overall. I wish it was 3 monsters instead of 5 for its summon. I don't know what the heck this thing is supposed to be, because all the Metaphys monsters are supposed to be, like, dragons that turned into, that, like, basically ascended into godhood or something, which is basically, like, it's, no, not godhood, but, like, they ascended into another transcendental plane. I can't think of what monster this is. I mean, he kind of looks like Catastor, but Catastor is a machine, not a dragon. Oh well. Next up, we got Burning Bamboo Sword there. Yay, more bamboo sword crap. Continue spell card. If you activate a bamboo sword card while this card is face up in your spell and trap card zone, you can skip your opponent's next main phase 1. This card is mean. I don't know if Bamboo Sword decks are going to play it, mostly because the Bamboo Sword cards are mostly used as a draw engine. Yes, there's that nasty little thing where you can have that one continuous spell card, and then basically with the other like equipped card, you can basically continuously make it so that your opponent skips their draw phase, and then because of this card, you can also make it so they skip their main phase 1. That is really mean. I like that idea. It'll be interesting to see if they also make it to where you can skip your opponent's battle phase, like with a future card. You know, just skip your opponent's entire turn, basically, at this point. I don't know how, like, much of an impact this is going to have, but I like it. And then this card, I especially when I saw the artwork of, but no. Rifle. This is adorable. I love it how they're continuing Apprentice Magician and Stacker Magician, and then that's a Akashic Magician. They're telling a story with all this, and I love it. It's adorable. This is like a super anime-ish card with the card art. God dang it. It reminded me of this one anime, but now I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. During the battle phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one monster. The only issue I have with this card is that it doesn't say, in addition to your normal summon or set. So, I don't know if, like, you can only use this if you don't do your normal summon during your main phase, or during your main phase. It'll be interesting to see what the rolling is. I think that because it's a card effect, you do get the extra normal summon. I don't know, though, and it doesn't say on here that, like, oh, you cannot gain multiple of this effect or anything, so you can't, like, use double summon and then discard. It doesn't say that anywhere on there, so I don't know. And we got more Ojama support. This has me incredibly hopeful that maybe we will see more Ojama support other than just this, because this card is really good, but it feels like it came out a bit too late. And there are very good reasons. So this is Ojama Duo. Special summon 2 Ojama tokens, beast type, light, level 2, attack 0, defense 0 to your opponent's side, to your opponent's field and defense position. They cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. And each time one is destroyed, its controller takes 300 damage. During your player's turn, except the turn this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 2 Ojama monsters with different names from your deck. So, right away, I can tell you right now that the main reason why this card is so good for Ojamas is because of the second effect. Ojamas have had an issue with trying to get stuff out on field really easily. Oftentimes, they have to rely on red to summon out a bunch of stuff all at once. So, this card can be really helpful. So, why did I say that this card should have came out a while back? It's because nowhere on this card does it say you cannot use the tokens for a linked summon. It really should have said that, because the whole point of Ojama tokens is to troll your opponent, lock up their field, and basically make it to where they can't do much of anything except for maybe synchro with it. So the sheer fact that you can use the tokens for a linked summon is just stupid, okay? If I don't get rid of my opponent's tokens right off the bat, right away, they can just use both tokens for a link spider and then make a honeybot or something. That is stupid, okay? The sheer fact that this card does not inhibit your opponent's ability to link summon by not allowing them to use the tokens is just completely, it's ignorant to the whole point of the freaking cards. I mean, heck, yes, if you have Ojama Duo and Ojama Trio, you lock up your opponent's entire monster zones. And, hey, look at that, your opponent has all 5 of their monster zones covered with tokens. But now, because of links and how super generic a lot of them are, that's just free link summons for them, and you're just opening up their monster zones for extra black monsters without having to do anything. It's really stupid. They should have thought about that more, but oh well, I'm not Konami. Konami is supposed to be super smart, right? With their R&D. Anyways, next up is Medic Muscler. And I legit almost gagged because I was like, oh my god, that's the dude from Marauding Captain and the other, like, Marauding Captain series of cards, you know. I'm pretty sure he was in Marauding Captain. I'm pretty sure he was in the new version of Marauding Captain in Coda the Duelist. And I'm pretty sure he's been in a few other artworks. So, seeing this guy as an actual card is funny. he's a Medic Muscular, level 4 Water Warrior type monster, attack 2200, defense 100, because, hey, why not? And then, this reminds me a lot of really old, back in the day when Konami would make high attack power level 4 monsters, like basically anything with 1800 or more attack power that was level 4, they would give it some sort of stupid restriction. Like, for instance, Susa Soldier with 2000 attack, he was a spirit. Any damage you did to your opponent was halved. Okay? This thing, whenever this card would inflict battle damage to a player or players, that player or players gains that amount of life points instead. So if you attack directly for 2200, your opponent gains 2200 instead. But if you're playing like Nurse Burn, yeah, your opponent still takes 2200. I don't know if Nurse Burn players are actually going to play this or not, but now you have a 2200 beater for Nurse Burn, so that's a thing. And then, oh hey, it's a water, so if you get multiple of these guys out, you can also make Bahamut Shark and then totally awesome in Nurse Burn. But however, oh wait, you can't do that anymore because of links. Yeah, I'm getting pretty salty, and considering that we are 15 days until links, I'm not looking forward to that. Next up, we got Altar of the Mind's Eye, Field Spell. I love how they're calling back to all these old cards. If you guys haven't heard of, there's an equipped spell called Rod of the Mind's Eye. I actually cannot remember what the heck it does, so let's go ahead and Google it. There it is. If a monster equipped with this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, the damage becomes 1000 instead. And guess what Altar of the Mind's Eye does? Literally that, but it makes it so that any battle damage a player takes becomes 1000. This card is incredibly interesting to me, especially if you use it in combination with Replenishment Squad, because then, oh hey, your opponent has to attack you a crap ton, and Replenishment Squad is not once per turn, so if you have this and Replenishment Squad out at the same time and your opponent doesn't Twin Twister it or something, you can draw a card every time your opponent attacks you. And that is awesome, because it's any battle damage, it doesn't matter. Oh hey, you have an Odd Eyes and you're attacking over a Red Eyes, and that's 200 damage normally because of Odd Eyes' effect. No, it becomes 1000. It just flat out becomes 1000. This card is super trolly, and I can't help but wonder if anybody's going to use it for a troll deck. It's funny. Next up, we got Nimble Beaver. Oh god, more Nimble stuff. Yay! So, level 2 Water Beast type effect monster, 400 attack, 200 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Nimble monster from your deck or graveyard. This card is really good. If you're wondering why I was so like unenthusiastic about Nimble support, is because Nimble is one of the most annoying decks I have dueled against. But however, this card is just really good for like raccoons, being able to summon out any other Nimble. Heck, you can even summon out another copy of it if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you could. And then, oh hey, you can make a rank 2, or you can make a Link, whatever you want. This card is pretty good. I can see it being useful for Nimble decks quite a bit. Then we got React Ant, or Blast Ant as it was called earlier. They've been updating the translations. I couldn't remember the word for all throughout the day. Level 3, Earth Insect type effect monster, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use each effect among the first and second effects with this card's named once per turn, so you can only use each effect once a turn. Flip, each player takes 1000 damage. Cool. When this card is absorbed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, your opponent takes 1000 damage. So it can do 2000 damage to your opponent very easily, just by being attacked over. And that's a forfeit of life points. That's a lot. I've seen a lot of people talking about playing this in crawlers, because crawlers are insects, this is an insect. And that just sounds good and synergetic and everything, not to mention he's a flip like the crawlers. I don't know, I really got to play around with crawlers. I haven't gotten to because they're not on anything yet. So, this seems pretty good. I like it. Next up we got a new crawler. There's actually 2 new crawlers. Crawler Ranveer. Level 2, Earth, Insect type, Flip effect monster. 1100 attack, 900 defense. You can only use each of this card's name's effects once per turn. Flip, you can target up to 2 crawler monsters in your graveyard, add them to your hand. And then he has a standard effect where if he's face up, at least filled by a card effect, you can summon 2 crawler monsters of different names from your deck in face down defense position, aside from himself. All crawlers have that. Really good for hand recursion. I kind of wish they'd special summon stuff, and funnily enough, as I was thinking that when I first read this, the next dude does exactly that. Whenever he's face up, you can summon a crawler from your hand or graveyard, face up attack position or face down defense position, except himself. Both of these are pretty good until we get better crawlers, and considering how we didn't get a single new Stargrail in this set, I doubt we'll get any new crawlers in the following set, because they're probably going to move on to either the Jack Knights or Mectrocities. So I really doubt that the crawlers will get more support, at least maybe not direct support. Obviously the Star Relics are going to keep getting more support. So it'll be interesting to see if they get anything new. Honestly, I'd like to see the deck get a D-draw or something, just flip, discard a crawler, draw 2 cards, something like that. Then Goliath over here, Goliath, 700 attack, 1500 defense. Whirlwind Machine Striber. I agree with pretty much everybody who says this should either be a desk bot or a Morphtronic, but oh well, whatever. Attack 22, defense 22. A monster attributed for the tribute summon of this face-up card is returned to the hand instead of being sent to the graveyard. I actually really like that, because then, oh hey, your opponent Phoenix changed a monster. Okay, tribute, summon, effect, return to hand. Also... Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it said to your hand instead of the hand, so I was thinking, oh, hey, Monster Stormforth, tribute opponent's monster, return it to your hand. Still your opponent's monster. But no, it says the hand, so yeah, return your opponent's monster back to the hand. And then once per turn, you can discard a card, return all cards in the same column as this card that your opponent controls to the hand. This card would be infinitely more better if it was once per turn during your first turn. Just flat out. It would have been so much better, because then it would actually be an issue for your opponent to work around. But it's not, and so it's easily ran over, it's easily gotten rid of, it's just not very great. And heck, honestly, even if it was once per turn during your first turn, it still wouldn't be all that great. It just would be a lot better. This card is just not good in general. And then for a final card, Dark Angel. I was really hoping they would give her Trickstar in her name or something, because she looks like a Trickstar, has the artwork of a Trickstar, and basically the only thing that doesn't make her a Trickstar is the fact that she's dark and has 0 attack, 0 defense, and has nothing to do with burn. Anyway, so Dark Angel, level 5 fire, dark, not fire, fairy type effect monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. When an attack is declared targeting a fairy type monster you control, you contribute at monster, send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up monster you control, switch the attack target to that target. Also, it gains attack equal to the original attack of the tribute monster till the end of this turn. This card was meh in the anime, and it's still meh now. It's a hand trap that requires you to neg 2 by discarding itself and also tributing one of your monsters. I don't know if it's going to be really great. It could be a fun little tech choice for Trickstars and Melodious and stuff, but I don't see it being useful very much, if at all, for a lot of decks, especially fairy decks, because a lot of the fairy decks that are out there, they have a tendency to not have very good time of keeping a hand. She might be okay in freaking Dark Lords, if only because she's a dark herself and she's a fairy, so she's an allure target and all that. I don't know. It's an interesting card. I don't think it's anything great, but anyways, so guys, what are your guys' thoughts on these cards? I think overall Circuit Breaker looks to be a great set. I really can't wait to play the good old freaking where to go crawlers. Crawlers are awesome. Kind of want to see what's up with the Ojamas. I've always wanted to build Ojamas, but God, I never got around to doing it. The cards are hard to find for some reason. And considering how Ojama Duo and Ojama Trio are just not going to be all that great during Link format, unless like you got Ojama Delta Hurricane or something, or your opponent's just not playing Links, which almost everybody will be because we're being forced to practically. I don't really see Ojamas being all that great unless they get some more like big time support. But hey, this one card's pretty cool. I like it. Anyways, guys, that's all for today with the new stuff, unless like something got announced. It kind of sucks to see that there's no Noble Knight stuff like they said there would be. I'm actually curious to see if there is any more cards that's missing, because they were right about the crap. What was it? Noble Knights and Mecha Phantoms, and it doesn't look like we're getting any Noble Knights stuff. And why is my computer not loading the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki? That is not the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my computer, but I will find out later. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great day. See you all later. Peace out and goodbye. Legend for Life. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to my 2 Patreons so far. To my 2 wonderful Patreons, Cambrock223 and Night Zone. You guys are incredibly awesome, and it just I can't express my thanks enough. Thank you guys both, and I hope everybody has a great day. See y'all later. Peace out.